Alright, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Casey, and today in this reading we're going to be looking at what exactly do you need to be doing in order to achieve your manifestations and reach the goals that you want. Because for those of you that know anything about manifestation, you know that you can't achieve what you want just through wishful thinking alone. I do think that that's the first step in telling the universe what it is that you want to do, where you want to go. But the next step is once the universe starts giving you those opportunities, what work do you need to put behind your words and behind that wishful thinking to actually propel you forward? Because nobody's going to get you there except for you. So we're going to be looking at steps 1, 2, and 3 of how you actually are going to get yourself to those goals. So if it's a certain position in your career, hopefully the cards will show us, steps 1, 2, and 3, what moves do you actually need to make in order to get to that location. For others of you, maybe you're trying to manifest a relationship in your life, and maybe you think that you're ready, but you're actually not yet. There's still work for you to do on yourself or learning that needs to be done before you can meet this person. Or maybe it's just a matter of you need to put yourself out there more. What are these steps that will get you to what it is that you're trying to manifest into your life? So today I have 3 different readings for you to choose from. We have pile 1 with the dove feather, pile 2 with the duck feather, and pile 3 with the woodpecker feather. So go ahead and pause, figure out which pile you feel most drawn to. I'll leave timestamps down in the description box below so you can quickly jump to whichever reading that you want to listen to. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, pile 1. If you chose the dove feather, then this is going to be the reading for you. I want to start by saying I hope there's not too much background noises. There's some construction work going on outside, so hopefully that doesn't interrupt us too much. But I want to start by saying that I think that this pile is definitely going to be skewed towards those of you that are looking for a romantic relationship, that you're trying to manifest a partner or some sort of situationship or relationship into your life. If that doesn't sound like you, you might want to go back and choose a different pile, because this might not resonate with you. But let's go ahead and get into this. So like I said at the beginning, we're looking at steps 1, 2, and 3. So the exact order of operations that you need to do in order to achieve what it is that you're trying to manifest. And the reason that I think that it's a relationship that I'm seeing here is because what this needs you to do is a lot of internal work. Whereas if it was like a career reading, I would see a lot of you need to do, this, you need to go out and, network with these kinds of people, or et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of this has to do with you, a lot of internal work, looking within, shadow work, or reframing your perspectives before you can get to what it is that you want. So let's go ahead and get into it. So starting off with the cards on the left, you have Cleanse and the Ace of Cups reversed. Before you can allow a romantic relationship into your life, because the thing about romantic relationships is they're not just all sunshine and rainbows. They're very nice and they're very fun with the right person, but the volatility of emotions that you can feel if you're not ready, or if it's not the right person, or if it's not the right time, can dramatically change your life, not forever, but it can really be something that hurts you in the short term, that can really put tension on all the other areas of your life, because you're making yourself very vulnerable and very bare to another person, and they have the opportunity to crush that. Or if you yourself are not ready, things could go askew right away, and it could actually end up being worse for you than, if you had just been single, which I'm not discounting all romantic relationships, but I am saying that I think that you do need to do work on yourself and some learning before you get into a relationship. And I can almost feel you saying, but I'm ready. Like, I get this energy that you're exasperated. Maybe it's been a long time. And I hate to say this, so don't think that I'm trying to put you down. I'm trying to be as honest as possible. When I say you're not ready, I think it's because you can only see a part of the picture. You aren't able to step back and see yourself as a whole. And what I mean by that is you might think that you're ready, but there are still some things about yourself that if you were to take a deeper look, you'd realize, and you'd be like, oh, you're right. I do need to take a deeper look at this. I do tend to act rashly in certain ways about things. And I'll talk exactly what I mean about that. So this Cleanse card and the Ace of Cups reversed. The Ace of Cups reversed is all about negativity, lack of love, volatile negative emotions, pain. It's a very sad card. You want it to be upright. But in order for it to be upright, you need to cleanse and clear away the negativity. I'm going to start with external things because this might be easier for you to conceptualize. So, in order to invite positive relationships into your life, you need to clear away the bad ones, the old ones, the people around you causing negativity, the people around you using and using your time without actually caring about you. You need to clear away those people to allow room in for the new people. And in the same way with your emotions and your reactions to things, if you notice yourself being really volatile and reacting to certain things in like familial relationships or friendships, you find yourself becoming very angry with people or acting passive aggressive, or, you know, somebody does something that kind of ticks you off, and instead of communicating about it, you kind of blow up or you shut them out or you do something very spiteful. You need to examine how you behave in other relationships, because a romantic relationship isn't completely different. You know, they're actually quite similar to our familial relationships and our friendships, just with, you know, that added layer of attraction and everything that goes into that. But the best place that you can start with where you need to cleanse these negative energies, these negative reactions, these negative emotions, is by looking at how you've reacted to things in the past with other relationships. And especially if you've been in a romantic relationship before, look at why that ended, and not just looking at why the other person was in the wrong, but how you could have been in the wrong too. And I'm not saying that the other person might not have been at fault, but you really need to examine yourself, examine the part that you played in those things ending. Because in order to go into a new relationship and have it be open communication and honesty and have it be a healthy relationship, you can't always be the winner. And you can't always be the victim. You have to realize that relationships go two ways, and you really need to examine how you're going to behave in situations where you are hurt, where maybe they say something that bothers you. Are you going to be passive aggressive? Are you going to be spiteful? Are you going to say things that you might regret? You need to clear away all these negativities, or at the very least, realize them, look them in the face, accept them, and say, you know, yes, these are a part of me. This is something that I deal with. I need to face it head on and just, at the very least, accept it and not be in denial and not always blame other people for our faults, which can be a very hard thing to do. But it might be worth it to look back on, start with external things because those are easiest to see rather than internal. Start by looking at your past relationships. If you've ever had like a friendship that really broke up and fell apart, look at how you might have been in the wrong. You know, even if the person was a lot more in the wrong, like I said, every relationship goes two ways. There's some very rare scenarios where it's absolutely like one person's fault that things fell apart. In those, you don't need to, you know, look at yourself and be like, what did I do wrong here? But you do need to look at the other ones and say, you know, what were things about the way that I acted and behaved here that could be fixed? Or the way that I reacted to certain things? How could I not minimize yourself and brush things under the rug, but deal with them in a more healthy manner? So that's going to be kind of the first step in this. And I also want to point you to, there's this podcast, I bring it up a lot in these readings, but it's this guy, Leo Skepi. He has this podcast called Aware and Aggravated, and he goes into a lot of detail about relationships and behavioral things and mental health. And if any of those podcast episode titles kind of speak to you, you might want to check those out. I'll also direct you to look up shadow work journals or shadow work prompts online. And it's basically just like questions for you to ask yourself to think deeper about why you think and act the way that you do. I think that that would be a great jumping off point to deal with this, first of all. But the second thing I think is going to be a little bit easier for you emotionally, because I think that this first step is it's going to be very rough. There's nothing fun about healing, you know, it's a difficult process. But this next part is, before you get into a romantic relationship or even start looking for a partner, you need to ask yourself, what do you actually want out of a partner? Because a lot of people, and you know, I myself used to go through this. I would see a person that I thought was very attractive and immediately be like, yes, I want a relationship with them. I'm in love with them. I have grown up since then, but I didn't realize that those people that I quote unquote loved, I was actually just deeply infatuated with them. I didn't see the red flags underneath. I didn't see, what I actually wanted my standards to be. I was just so excited by the prospect of attractive person likes me and I like them. Yeah, let's do this. But something Spirit wants you to do is really ask yourself, what do you want out of a relationship? Not just, the cuddling or the going out on dates or the spending time with somebody or that you find attractive and they find you attractive too. But what do you want out of a partnership? Do you want somebody to go through life with together? Do you want somebody that you can travel and have fun with? Because that's really going to change the kinds of people that you come across. Because some people are good for a short time, for a fun time. They're good for like going out together on fun dates and going out and clubbing and partying or having fun together. Others are going to be who's that person that you can come home to at the end of the day and really relax in bed and read together or watch TV together. So really ask yourself, what kind of partner are you looking for? But also list out what exactly your standards are. Like, I feel like this might not be the right idea, but like a pros and cons list, except for a potential partner. You have certain things that they need to fill, certain standards that they need to fill, and if they don't, they're the wrong person for you. And I think that'll save you a lot of heartbreak when it comes to finding the right person, because if you see this person and you don't have these standards written out clearly, and then they break your heart, you're going to be like, how did I let this person break my heart? They weren't even like up to par, and now I'm like heartbroken over this person that didn't even really care about me. So some things that you might think put a part of this list of standards is like the same level of emotional maturity as you. Do they have the same kind of interests? Do they have a drive towards a career that they're passionate about? Do they have a life of their own where they're not looking to be dependent on somebody else? Are they completely self-sufficient? Do they have a good relationship with their family? Do they fit the kind of looks that you're looking for? Do you find them attractive? Are they charismatic? These are the kinds of things that you might want to list out and ask yourself, when you're looking for a potential partner, do they fill all of these things? Because once you get past the infatuation stage of, oh, they're so attractive, you're just left with the person. And if you realize you don't really like them, or they have a lot of problems in this area or this area, things kind of start to fall apart, and you're going to be like, God, I wish that I could have vetted this person in the first place before I went into this. And the reason that I bring up all these examples is because you have this mystery card here. And I think that what these standards are for you are going to be something that's not universally filled for every person. I have a very specific set of standards for my romantic partners. Yours could be completely different. Maybe you don't care a lot about certain standards and you just need like these 3 different things to be filled by this person. I don't know. But the reason the mystery card is there is because this is something that you're supposed to figure out for yourself. That's why I say that this is a lot of internal work that you're going to be doing. Questions that you not only ask about yourself and your own behaviors and the way that you react to things, but also about the potential partner that you'll be looking for. What you want that person to be like, what kind of personality you'd want them to have. Not so you can like pick and choose through a bunch of people, but so that when you do come across a person, it's easier to be like, if they're not the perfect person for me, I know right away, so that I don't go further down this line and end up getting heartbroken or end up getting dissatisfied or getting hung up on somebody that's kind of toxic. You know what I'm saying? And the final thing that you have to do, we have step 3 of how you're going to achieve this manifestation of having a romantic relationship, having the partner that you desire so badly. You have success and the Knight of Cups reversed. This one is going to be harder for you to hear because this has to do with you actually putting in work towards, meeting a person. You have the Knight of Cups reversed, and to me what this is saying is, in order to actually find people, you can't expect them to come up to you. You can't expect them to find you off the street and suddenly swoop you off your feet, or be the first one to reach out to you, or that you're just going to be going to Starbucks one day and you're going to meet this person. It is possible that you could run into those situations, but when you think of people today, I feel like 95% of them are not the kind that are so bold that they could just walk up to a person and ask them out. I feel like that happens very rarely, and especially if it does happen, they're kind of creepy, or they're just not, maybe they don't fit all these standards that you're looking for. And so what you need to hear about this partner, and I'm going to give you an analogy here, is when it comes to manifestations, like I said at the beginning, you have to put in your own work to achieve them. Like if you're trying to manifest a cake coming into your life, you tell the universe, like, I want a cake so bad, this is the only thing that I want to have this come into my life. The universe might open a store nearby that sells cakes, but you still have to go out there and look for them. You still have to go out and choose one and figure out which flavor you want. You have to walk yourself to that store. It's not going to suddenly, the store is going to one day look you up in the yellow pages and be like, this person, we're going to send them a free cake. That's not how it works. I think once you have cleansed away the negativity, you have the space ready for a person, you have the standards lined out for what kind of person you want, then it's time to go shopping. But in order to do that, you have to put yourself out there. I think dating apps really aren't the best place to look for long-term partners, but it is a very convenient way, and you could certainly put yourself out there that way. I don't think it's impossible to find a partner, but if you've had bad experiences on there, you know what I'm talking about. But it could be as simple as, it's not simple, it's quite difficult, honestly, but when you're out in public, if you see somebody that you think is attractive, maybe, write your phone number on a napkin, give it to them, or walk up to them, try to get to know them. Or if there's somebody in your friend group that you've always had your eye on but have been too afraid to say something, you need to be the one that takes that step. Because it's very rare that people are going to sense your intentions, sense your desires, and just come to you. You are the only one that knows your desires, knows what you want, and you have to be willing to be the one to take those first steps and put yourself out there. So, pile 1, that's about everything that I have for you. I hope that everything made sense. I hope that I lined it out really well. What I just see here is it's time to clear away the bad. It's time to clear away the old behavior cycles. It's time to clear away old past relationships that we might be holding on to. It's time for you to figure out what you actually want out of a partner. And then once you have all of that figured out, be the one to actually go out there and say something to people. Be the one to go out there and, hit on people. Even if it doesn't amount to anything, put yourself out there, which I know is a lot easier said than done, but it's what you gotta do. I mean, there's nothing easy about going out and finding a relationship, at least for the vast majority of us. It is very hard, and it's even harder to maintain a proper one, having to heal and communicate and everything that goes into maintaining relationships. Once you get them, it doesn't just stop and be easy forever, There's a lot of work that needs to be put into it. There's a lot of growth. But I do truly believe that it's something that you can do, and you wouldn't be getting this message if it wasn't something that wasn't meant for you. So, pile 1, that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Alright, pile 2. I want to start by saying that your reading is going to be kind of vague. It's going to be hard for me to use a lot of analogies and narrow down exactly what it's talking about, because I think that this is meant for a lot of different people who are thinking about doing a lot of different things. And I'll get a little bit more in depth into that, but I really believe that this has to do with a career of some kind that is very different from the path that you were on or the path that you thought you should have gone down. And I feel like you're at the precipice of should I, shouldn't I don't really know. But you do feel a strong desire to pursue this, whatever this is. I think it's a career. It could be a side hobby. It could be a passion project. Maybe you'd want to start your own business. Those are the kind of analogies that I'm using here. But like I said, I think it's going to be different for all of you exactly what it is. So I'm not going to try too hard to narrow it down because I don't want to leave any of you guys out. Alright, so starting here on the left, you have mystery clarified by the Emperor reversed. I feel like you are so afraid of the possibility of failure, or the possibility of judgment, or what if you don't know how to go in the right direction? I feel like you're waiting for somebody to help you. You're waiting for, like, you wish that you had a mentor that would just take your hand and guide you. The truth is, I don't think anybody's coming along. The only person that is going to be able to help you, that is going to be able to elucidate whatever mysteries that you have, is you. If you want to figure this thing out, you want to see it through, you want to try to go down whatever path this is, the only person that can help guide you is yourself. And that's extremely scary because I think what you're doing is something very unfamiliar. I think it's not something that anybody in your family has ever done. I think it's not something that many people around you have ever done. And you're just at the beginning of, like, I'll give you an example. Maybe you went to college and everything just seemed to be going sideways. You weren't doing well in the classes. Everything felt like it was pointing you in a different direction till you got to a point where you weren't sure if you could continue down this path. And then another option becomes available to you, but it's something so mysterious, for lack of a better word, something so unheard of or different, or something that you never would have thought of as a prospect, a career prospect. And suddenly it seems like you're faced with these two paths, and you can't really keep going with the college one because maybe you really weren't doing well. Maybe you're starting to lose options with things. You think that this isn't the right path for you. But at the same time, the other option is so unknown and scary, and you're like, I wouldn't even know where to start with that. But the only person that is going to be able to make the choice of what direction you go in is you. And the unknown path, I know it's scary, but if you feel a strong enough desire to do it, and you feel like the universe has been pointing you in this direction, the universe has been closing off all the other directions and trying to push you towards this one thing, and you just keep digging your heels in because it's scary, it's unknown, you might be holding back the flow of the direction that your life is meant to go in. So this is going to be for a very specific audience. For those of you that feel like you could still go down the traditional path and you want to, and this is just something that, like, you might be interested in, this might not be as much for you. I think this reading could still resonate with you, but I feel like the audience that I meant to give this to is those of you who are starting to feel like you have no other option except for this direction that quite honestly scares you. And the biggest thing holding you back right now is fear of the unknown, fear of this path that you don't know if it's going to lead to anything good, if it's just going to lead to wasted time and a broken heart and being unfulfilled. I think that's who I meant to give this message to. And what I need to start by saying is, you are the only one that is able to make this decision of whether or not you go forward. And nobody else is going to hold your hand and guide you and mentor you. It's not impossible that you couldn't find a mentor, but you are going to be the one that has to reach out to those people and ask for mentorship. You're going to be the one that needs to make those moves towards what you want because nobody else is going to do it for you. And I see that you have so much potential, but you lack so much confidence in yourself and your abilities that you're frozen in fear. You could be this emperor, but right now you're the emperor reversed. The emperor that doesn't realize his power, doesn't realize his abilities yet, doesn't know how to push forward and control his own destiny. You are going to be the one that has to learn all that. So the first step is deciding, am I going to go down this path or am I going to turn around and try something else? And I'm not telling you one is better than the other, but you need to look within and really ask yourself, what do I want most? What can I do? What do I feel like I can achieve? Because if you truly believe that you could never do this, there was no possibility of achieving what it is that you desire, then give up. But if you have that spark of hope, if you really believe, like, look at these other people that have done it, I can possibly do it, then keep going. If that's what you want. Like I said, I'm not making the decision for you, but I think you have a lot of potential here. And the first step, this big hurdle that you need to get over, is your own fear holding you back. Because honestly, the sooner you start, the sooner you could get to whatever this end goal, this end objective is. But you need to start by overcoming this fear, figuring out how you're going to start, teaching yourself the ropes of whatever this thing is. Like if it's a business, learning how to start a business, learning how to do branding, learning how to market online. Those are all things that you need to get on top of, but you need to start by asking yourself, do I believe in this? Do I want to do this? Would I choose this over this other path? You need to ask yourself those questions, first and foremost. And the next thing that you're going to have to deal with is along these same lines. You have fear and the Lovers. The Lovers card, to those that don't really know tarot, you might just think that it's about romantic relationships, but it's actually about a choice. If you look at the card, it's Adam and Eve, and they're in the Garden of Eden, and Eve is supposed to be making this choice between what she truly desires to do versus the path that's been laid out before her by God. Stay in this garden, do what you're meant to be doing, versus making the choice to bite the forbidden fruit. I hope I summed that up well. I'm not a Christian or anything like that, so I don't really know. But you have this fear of both directions, I feel like. Even the stable path, the path that you know, scares you because you're afraid of what if I'm unfulfilled? What if that's the only thing that life amounts to? What if that's the only thing that I can do the rest of my life? God, how boring. I feel like you're terrified of what life would look like if you were stuck in that for the next 50 years, but at least it's stable. At least you know what to expect. But this other path, the path that you desire, is the unknown, and you're terrified of what if I go down this path and it doesn't amount to anything? What if? You have all these fears, but nothing is going to make you take a step forward. You can't stay at this fork in the road forever. You have to choose one or the other. You just have to ask yourself, what are you going to make a leap to? The known, the unhappy known that you'd be really dissatisfied in, because I get a sense that you'd be pretty dissatisfied going down that route. That's the only reason I say it like this. Versus the other route that just take a second and imagine what your life could look like if you succeeded at this other route that you desire so much. Push away all the fears of right now and just imagine what your life could look like. Is that something that you'd want to work towards? Is that worth pushing through fear? Is that worth taking on the risk of possible failure? Because there is a possibility of success. I really do believe that this is something that you can do, but the first step is letting go of fears. The first step is letting go of fear and just making a choice and committing to it and realizing, no matter what choice that you make, it is your choice and you have to stick with it. But this other option, this option that you desire, I don't think that this is something that you need to fear so wholeheartedly, because, look around you. The vast majority of businesses that have been created started off from basically nothing. Started off from people who just had a dream of what it could look like, and they built it into something amazing. But they all started from the same point that you're at right now. And you look at people who are in the same sort of field that you're trying to be successful in. They succeeded. Look at the successful ones. They made it. So it's not impossible for you. It's not too late for you. You could still do it. But you have to realize this other unknown path, it's not going to be super bump free. There'll be failures along the way. But if you don't quit, you win. That's what I say about a lot of things. If you don't quit, eventually, you're going to win. And it is a lot more unknown. It's going to be scary. It's going to be terrifying. You might get a lot of judgment from other people that don't see the vision. But if you see the vision, if you know what it could amount to, the choice is yours. So the final cards that we have here for you are Ideation and the Five of Cups. And this is the last and final step that you need to make in order to get down this road of what you need to do to achieve what it is that you desire. It's important along the way, if you decide to pursue this path, that you keep an eye on where you want to go, not at the things that you failed at along the way. I think you're somebody that tends to fixate on your fears, tends to fixate on the negative what-ifs, that you don't even realize all the positive what-ifs. Because In truth, it's our mind's way of protecting us from failure, protecting us from not being loved, or protecting us from getting hurt, is to throw fears at us, to blow them up huge in our mind so that it strays us away from the scary path. But you have to you've got to tell your mind, if you want to pursue this thing, thank you for helping me, thank you for trying to hold me back from getting hurt, but I don't need you to protect me. I know the direction that I'm going in has these possibilities, but I cannot fixate on the fears. When you look at this Five of Cups guy, he's looking at these 3 cups that are overturned. He's wearing all black. He's mourning the loss. It's the only thing that he can fixate on. He doesn't even realize he still has these 2 cups upright. And I think along this journey that you go down, there's going to be a lot of moments where you mess up, or things don't turn out the way that you wish they had, or there are certain failures or missed deadlines along the path. But you need to realize there are still 2 upturned cups. There is still a possibility forward. There are still good things to come. There will be minor setbacks along the way, but as long as you believe in the flow of the universe and that you're on the right path, that the universe has your back to go in this direction that you desire so badly, you can keep pushing forward. You can make it happen. But you need to learn to not fixate so much on your fears, fixate on the what ifs, because those are only going to be an anchor that you're dragging around. Those are only going to hold you back and slow you down and make you second guess your decisions. You need to be fully committed, fully in, and realize those fears aren't going away, but you can't let them rule you. You need to be the one in control and commit that if I make this decision, I made it. There's no going back. There's no looking back at the past. There's only moving forward. And if things mess up, how can we find a way around them? How can we find a different path to get us along the way? And it's like, I think it was the Gem Goddess here on YouTube, another tarot reader that recently used this analogy that if you're trying to drive from like Los Angeles to New York, and along the way you like hit a cul-de-sac or like a dead end, are you just going to stop there and say, oh, well, there's no way to get to New York? No, you're going to probably turn around, find a different street, and get back on the main road. There is still a way. But if you let setbacks turn into these monumental mountains of like, oh, I'll never get around it, it's your fears holding you back. It's your exhaustion from, getting to those setbacks and being like, I don't know if I can keep going. Nobody else is going to force you to keep going. You are the one that has the choice in these matters. It's just a matter of choosing the consequences that come with those choices. Using that example that I just used, if you're sitting in that car, you could choose to stay there and not risk using up any more gas, turn back around, go back to the home that you knew. Or you can take the consequence that comes with trying to keep going, possibly maybe getting lost again, maybe losing more gas, having to pay more money. But as long as you focus on that end goal and think, I want to get to that, and really put all of your effort into it, you are eventually going to get there. You can have what it is that you desire. But the biggest thing blocking you right now are these mental blocks. So, pile 2, that is everything that I have for you. I really hope that this reading helps you out and finds you when you need it the most, and I truly wish you the best on this journey that you're on. And I want you to know that you are absolutely not alone. It can feel really scary knowing that, you're going down this path that nobody around you has gone down. Everybody around you has gone down the safe path. But the truth is, there are so many successful people that started exactly where you are. This thing is not some lost cause. It's not some suicide mission. You can absolutely achieve what it is that you want. But it relies on you putting your mind towards it. It relies on you not giving up and you not giving in to your fears. So, that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Okay. Pile 3. Wow, this is gonna be kind of a rough reading. I don't usually get readings like this. For some reason, these aren't the kinds of readings that I channel. I don't expect a ton of you to resonate with this one, but for those of you that do, this is gonna be an emotional one. I can already feel like my skin prickling, like I'm actually feeling like tightness in like my left arm for some reason. I'm not going to jump to any conclusions about what that might mean. If you know what that means, then you know. I might get into that later on. I think that those of you that were drawn to this reading have just lost somebody. And I specifically mean for a lot of you that maybe you've gone through a breakup, but for others of you, you could have lost a loved one or a partner through a loss of life. Now, I apologize if I'm very slow at talking through this one because it feels like wading through like muck. Like, it's hard to explain if you don't channel or if you don't do readings, but sometimes like I'm really peppy and I talk really fast, but it feels like I'm literally losing my life force, like I'm losing and draining my energy from me as I'm talking. And I think it's channeling both the energy from you and also like the loss of this relationship or the loss of this person. It's very hard to explain, but I'm trying my best to channel while also like brushing away the feelings because I don't want to get crippled by them. So I'm going to go ahead and explain this reading to you. So starting off, we have Surrender, the Ace of Cups reversed, and the Knight of Cups reversed. And first of all, I want to start by saying that this reading is all about manifesting your desires or reaching your goals. For the first two piles, it was about like getting a romantic relationship. It was about getting the career that you want. Your end goal is not something material or physical. What I see is your end goal is trying to find a way to continue on after this has happened, which breaks my heart. Like, I'm going to try not to cry, but you're trying to find a way through, a way to continue on with life after losing this. And I think whoever this person was, this is somebody that you've known for a very long time. So my first instinct when I first got these cards was this was a romantic partner who you'd been with for a very long time, and maybe there was some sort of separation or breakup that left you feeling like you lost a part of yourself, like you'll never love again. And even though you're still in the throes of like this loss and mourning this, there's a part of you that wants to continue on, that wants to find a way through, that wants to find healing. Because you wouldn't come across this reading if your life had truly ended at this point. There would be no desires to go towards anything else. There would be no goals. But whether it's conscious or unconscious, you have a goal to make it through this, to find a way through life, even though you're on your own, even though you don't know how to live without this person, because your life has adjusted so much to living with this person at your side. It's been a long time since you've been on your own, and trying to relearn that is not only heartbreaking but extremely difficult. And so I'm gonna try my best to explain this to you as well as possible, because I mean that's the very least that you deserve right now. So with Surrender, the Ace of Cups reversed, and the Knight of Cups reversed, this is like, it's heartbreaking for me to even say it, and I'm not you. But accepting that this person isn't coming back. The surrender is just acceptance. It's not, like I'm trying not to cry. I usually don't cry in readings. I think that's only happened like one other time on this channel out of like the 80 or so videos that I've done. And each reading has like 3 readings, so imagine how rare this happens to me. Like, this doesn't happen in YouTube readings. This happens, when I'm giving readings to people I know in real life about heartbreaking situations to the point where I channel their emotions. For me to channel your emotions through a YouTube reading, that's how profound I feel this thing is that you're going through. And the first step is going to take a lot of time. I don't think that this is something that's going to be easy for you at all. And what you need to know is grieving happens differently for everyone. Some people, they won't cry at all for like the first 3 years, and then suddenly they like find something, like they find a picture or something that their loved one used to have, and it just all of a sudden they break down. Or for others, they cry extremely hard for like a week straight, and then they never cry again. But for you, first of all, don't judge yourself for however you go through this. Don't judge yourself for however long it takes. Even if this wasn't a loss of life, a breakup, especially with somebody that you've known for so long, somebody that you've cared about for so long, it might as well be a death. Because you're losing not just this person from your life, but the person that you was when you were with them. the version of your life that you had. You're not just mourning this person, you're mourning everything that you've ever known till this point. And you're being asked to basically adjust all of a sudden to this new way of living that you're completely not used to. And so it's even hard for me to say, but the first step is for you to accept that this thing is over. This person isn't coming back. To surrender and accept the fact that you can't live in the past, that things have fundamentally changed, and the only way forward, I mean, not even forward, because life moves on without you. Whether you like it or not, time is still moving forward. It's impossible to go back. The Knight of Cups, when it's upright, is all about somebody coming forward with like a loving offer, coming towards you, wanting to speak with you. With it reversed, that person's not coming back anymore. You're not getting that connection that you used to have. And with the Ace of Cups reversed, that love is gone. This relationship, what was there, it's gone. And you need to reckon with that fact. And I don't say that in like you need to get over this. I say that it's just the way that things are. I mean, there's no getting past it. It's over. This person is gone. And you can take all the time in the world that you need to grieve, but the first step is acceptance. I think they even teach you that in like the grief cycle. The first step is just accepting. Actually, no, I think it's the last step. It's a very hard step to get to, but it's the first step in allowing you to move on, is accepting that this thing has happened. There's no going back. There's no turning around. There's no going back to that life you lived. And just by trying to stay stuck in the past, trying to live in the nostalgia is not allowing you to move forward. It's just keeping you chained there. And just looking back on all the memories and thinking about what if, it's just keeping you chained in place to a place that is so heartbreaking at this point. Like you don't want to stay here. That's why you're getting this reading, is because whether you realize it or not, you're wanting to move on. You're wanting to move forward. Because that's what this end goal is to find a way to keep going through life, even though this thing has happened. And so the middle card is a little bit on the nose. You have Ghost clarified by the King of Cups. Now, there's a lot of water here with the cups. So I will say that this person could have been a water sign, which is Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer. They don't necessarily need to be. It could just be a sign that this was somebody that you felt very strong emotions for. Somebody that there was a lot of emotions between the two of you, which is why I say the two of you were so close. Maybe a romantic relationship, or maybe it was a family member, maybe it was a parent or a best friend. And with the Ghost card, I say it's on the nose, but it could go two ways. So if this was a breakup, once you can get past the acceptance stage, I don't know if you know what ghosting is, but it's essentially cutting off of contact from a person without saying anything. How you go about getting closure from this person is entirely dependent on you, if this person is still alive. But the most important thing is to cut off contact, because there's no going back. And having this person in your life is only going to be more painful to you. It's only going to stop you from moving on. It's only going to make you think, like, why couldn't we just go back to how things were? Why couldn't we just, why? And that's only what's going to hold you in the past more. The first step is accepting that you can't go back. The second is removing them from your life. Now, like I said, if you're dealing with, this person passed away, I think it's just another level of acceptance that you can't keep holding on to them anymore. You need to be able to let them go. You need to accept that they've moved on. And, no matter what your spiritual or your religious beliefs are, whether you believe that they're up in heaven or they're in a better place or whatever you believe, what you know is they're no longer with you. And trying to hold on to somebody who's not there, it's like you're underwater and you're holding onto an anchor and you're refusing to let go. You can't let yourself drown over this. You have to keep moving forward. And finally, with rejection, trust, and the Hermit. This is one of the hardest messages that I give to people when they're dealing with really tough shit is everything happens for a reason. Like, we like to believe that, in good times, or, when good things happen, or when slight inconveniences happen, it's like, oh, well, look on the bright side, everything happens for a reason. But when truly horrible stuff happens to us, saying that stuff, if somebody said that to me when I was in your position, I would slap them across the face, because why? What reason? Whose reasoning? Why did this have to happen to me? Why did this have to happen? But all I can tell you is it did happen. And like I said, I don't know your religious or your spiritual beliefs, but if you can find trust in a higher being or the universe, or that there was a reason that this happened, or that they could be in a better place, and that you can trust that they are at peace, or that this person was removed from your life for a good reason, I think that that's something that could help you a lot with this acceptance and being able to move on. And with the Hermit, the next step after all this is learning that, grieving isn't something that's just a one-time thing and then eventually it goes away. It's something that is going to be perpetual throughout the rest of your life. And it'll get easier, and you'll learn how to live with it, but it's never going to fully go away. But you have to know how to keep putting one foot in front of the other, to move forward even though you're on your own now. Because the Hermit is completely alone. The only thing to guide them is their own lantern. And I think for so long, you had this person at your side. They were your partner your whole life. They were somebody that you were intimately connected to, not just emotionally, but throughout life. You guys did everything together. Or they helped you through everything, and you don't know how to live without them. And now you're in the dark, and all you have is this lantern to guide you. You have to be the one that learns how to move forward, how to keep going, even though it's dark and you don't know what direction you're going, and you don't know how to be without them. You just have to have trust that, it happened for a reason. It happened. It's over. There's no going back. How do I move forward with my life? What purpose can I look towards now to keep me going? Maybe you have kids and maybe you live for them. Or maybe you try to find something else to live for if you don't have kids, or you don't have, I don't know. It's up to you to find that purpose, and it's up to you to find a way through. And I know that you will find a way through eventually. But don't expect this pain to suddenly vanish. It's going to be something that you learn to live with. It's going to be something that follows you around. And eventually it gets smaller and smaller until it's easier to live with. But it's not something that's one day just going to go away. And it's not something that you can run from. It's something that walks alongside you. Something that pushes you forward. Maybe this person is your reason why you keep going forward. Maybe there's something that you said you would always do together. Like, something that's popping into my mind is the movie Up. Which, oh my god, this is going to break my heart. But the old man who he had his wife, and all they wanted to do was, get to that waterfall. I don't even remember what it was called. But she passed away, and in her memory, the old man found a way to keep going, to make it there in her memory. And then along the way, he made the friend of that kid, and they went on that beautiful adventure, and he found a new reason to keep living. He found a way to move on, even though he fulfilled that purpose of living out that memory that the two of them wanted to do so badly. I feel like that's the kind of journey that you're on right now. And I promise you that there is a way out. There is a life ahead for you. But it's going to be a difficult journey. So, Pile 3, I truly, truly wish you the best at wherever you are. I hope that this reading found you when you needed it the most, and I hope that it can help push you forward. But that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.